Episode 7 of Strong Girl Namsoon starts with Hwaja attacking Namsoon with a knife. But Namsoon stops the knife inches from herself and pushes Hwaja, sending her flying. Hee-sik tells her to turn herself in, revealing that he's a cop. Hwaja says that she's broken a bone. Jeomju meets with Shiro in private. Outside the room, a man with a scarred face whispers to a heavy-set guard. Inside, they play blind man's bluff with cards. The catch is that the winner gets to make an offer the loser can't refuse. Jeomju wins the first round. She asks about Dugo and Shiro says he wants to make the company a global superpower. Jeomju says that she wants to know who is bankrolling Dugo and she would like to invest in the company as well. Namin meets Bongo and tells him he's declared independence from his mother. Looking at the family photo in Bongo's studio, Namin says Jeomju wouldn't like that since she wants to keep Namsoon's identity a secret. Jeomdong helps Jungon and Junhee find the person who scammed Junhee. Jungon rushes out once he finds an address. Once they leave, Jeomdong makes a phone call. Young-tak visits Dong-suk at Hee-sik's house. Dong-suk claims to not have had any water and decides to leave the house so he can help with the investigation. Namsoon and Hee-sik talk about Hwaja, who is in the hospital now but will be arrested once she heals. Since they haven't found the drugs at Dugo yet, Namsoon suggests finding the CEO's computer. Hee-sik agrees that could help them find a client list. Namsoon then speaks with another employee who claims to have a special energy drink to be able to work a lot of hours. While driving, Jeomju calls Bongo and tells him to come over for a family party that she's planning. She then gets a call from someone who is setting up a meeting with her. Namin eats less chicken than usual and Bongo notices. Namin tells him about the new diet pill and how it seems to be working. At the office, Dong-suk caves into his desire and puts a little water on his lips. It triggers the drug's effect immediately. He then looks for the original face mask that Hee-sik brought in as evidence. Jeomdong and Secretary Young Na-young chat in Namin's cafe. Jeomdong is about to ask Na-young what she thinks of him when Namin returns with leftover chicken. Jungon storms into the scammer's hideout and knocks out the two men inside. Junhee is startled at her display of strength as she carries them into the police station and orders the officers to arrest them. Happy with her work, she's about to leave but two officers stop her. They inform her that the offender of the parking incident has died in a drug-related case, and she might be called for questioning. Afterwards, Junhee asks about her strength, and she tells him about the hereditary trait. She also calls him for the family party happening that week. Jeomju meets her contact from Opulentia, and they discuss Ryushiro's past. Apparently, he was in Russia before he started Dugo. The logistics manager shows Shiro videos of Namsoon stealing from the warehouse as well as one of her fights with Hwaja. While working together, Hee-sik and Namsoon share a fun banter, and Hee-sik wonders if he might actually like her. Shiro sees a list of Jeomju's assets and tells his secretary to get more information. Jeomju also asks the Opulentia contact to get more information on Bread Song. Just then, Bread Song's assistant calls Jeomju on the pretext of the numbers game they play with each other. Since Jeomju wanted to know where Bread Song is, the assistant says the numbers he gave her are the coordinates to a cafe where she can find him. Bread Song is indeed at the cafe, flirting with a woman and encouraging her to invest in a fund. Jeomju watches him from afar and then approaches them. She asks him to give her tips on investing as well, but he claims to be busy and leaves in a hurry. The Dugo manager tells Namsoon that the CEO wants to see her due to her theft of the goods. She calls Hee-sik, saying this is a good opportunity to get information on him. Hee-sik is meant to go to a briefing at the police station but suddenly turns his car around. Namsoon enters the CEO's office and introduces herself to Shiro. They both pretend to not have seen each other before. She says she stole the goods to gift her parents in Mongolia. When Shiro calls her fascinating, Namsoon exchanges numbers with him so they can be friends. They agree to meet for dinner sometime. Namsoon tells Shiro the good news. He tells her to wait for him at the warehouse parking lot. When he arrives, Hee-sik notices she's wearing a pretty dress for dinner with her father. She teases him and they goof around. From his office, Shiro watches them running around. Hee-sik drops Nam-soon off to meet her father and introduces himself to Bongo. Nam-soon and her father then have a gala time at an amusement park, playing all the games. He later tells Nam-soon that she used to love stargazing. Once, she jumped really high to reach the stars but ended up falling and getting hurt. That's why Bongo keeps worrying about her. She promises to not do anything dangerous. Back at home, Shiro gets a call from his secretary who informs him about Jeomju losing her daughter. He also knows that Hwaja, whose real name is Lee Myung-hee, pretended to be the fake daughter. However, the photo of the real daughter in Jeomju's newspaper is of another woman, not Nam-soon. Young Na-young is at the indoor golf range when she gets a notification from her dating app, but the man is not to her liking. Hee-sik finally arrives at the police station, but the briefing is long over. He asks one of his colleagues to look into Dugo's server and look for drugs disguised as normal goods. While leaving, he sees missed calls from Young Tak and a message from Jeomju who invites him to the family party. The night of the party arrives and everybody turns up, dressed to the nines. Jeomju makes Hee-sik and Joon-hee introduce themselves. She also hints that Nam-soon must consummate her love this year itself. All of a sudden, Na-young shouts out that she's pregnant, and that Bongo is the father. Chaos ensues as Bongo protests that he hasn't done anything. Of course, it's all a prank for Bongo's birthday and the cake and streamers come out. Bongo doesn't look very happy. Then Jeomju sings a Spanish song while Jungon plays the piano. While having dinner, Namin is about to take a bite of his steak when it turns to stone. Or that's what it looks like to him. The party goes on and Nam-soon and Hee-sik step outside. They talk about her Mongolian parents, and Hee-sik reveals that his twin brother lost his life in the US due to a shooting incident. Later on, all the men are in a sauna and Nam-soon's relatives tell Hee-sik he passed the alcohol drinking test of the house. Elsewhere, the three women relax in a hot tub. The older women counsel Nam-soon about finding a good partner. When Nam-soon talks about the auroras in Mongolia, her mother and grandmother say they can make a moonbow. They throw water in the sky and lo and behold there's a rainbow in the night sky. Of course, the water ends up raining on Hee-sik who is on his way home. The next morning, the Dugo employee Nam-soon spoke to is found unconscious in his car. Nam-soon gets called to the CEO's office again. Shiro makes Nam-soon an offer. He tells her to become a Dugo lobbyist to earn more money. But first, she needs to pass a test. Hee-sik gets worried when he learns that his team has lost touch with Dong-suk. Meanwhile, Namin takes another pill from the same woman who gave him the first one. Shiro takes Nam-soon to a facility for the test. She's standing in a room while Shiro looks on from an elevated platform. He presses a button and an industrial press pushes down onto Nam-soon. Nam-soon stops it, but the force channels her mother's and grandmother's energy. Jeomju rushes out on her bike, but Shiro keeps increasing the force, and Strong Girl Nam-soon episode 7 comes to a close. The episode review Strong Girl Nam-soon episode 7 has moments of fun and thrill and intrigue. Hee-sik and Nam-soon share a cute dynamic with one another, although Nam-soon's behavior leans a bit too childish every now and then. But her conversation with her father about jumping for the stars was incredibly done, and quite moving. Nam-soon, her mother and her grandmother share heartwarming moments together. The moonbow scene is worthy of being the episode title since it highlights the importance of the bond between the women. Dong-suk and Namin's slowly increasing use of the drugs keeps the thrill factor going. As they ingest more, the stakes keep rising even if Nam-soon and Hee-sik don't know it. However, a few flaws in the storytelling are beginning to stand out. Nam-soon's conversation with Shiro about becoming friends felt stilted and quite unrealistic. The test scene at the end feels like an unnatural escalation, and it might have been better to ease into their relationship. The humor is definitely not everyone's cup of tea either. I couldn't help but agree with Bongo that the prank on him was over the top. Logic, too, seems like something easily overridden. It was subtle before but is a bit more glaring now. Dong-suk, for example. Exactly how is it possible for him to survive without food and water for this many days? Either way, looking forward to the next episode.